Hello, and welcome to the Homeowner's Guide to Stormwater video series, presented by the Westmoreland Conservation District. This is Part 1, Why Are There Stormwater Rules for My Property?, where we will explain the new Stormwater Management Ordinance that puts new rules on changes you may make on your own property and answer some of your questions. The first question is, what is stormwater? Stormwater is the rainwater that runs off roofs and pavement and over land because it cannot soak into the ground. Stormwater runoff is increased by new construction because building roofs, paved drives, and roadways not only cause water to run off their surfaces, but they also cover the ground so the rainwater can't soak into it naturally. The next question is, what is a stormwater ordinance? Stormwater ordinances give us guidelines to help us to reclaim our water resources, like our streams and waterways and our drinking water supply. When storms come and rains fall, water runs off across the ground, through our yards, and across properties as stormwater runoff. At its worst, stormwater runoff causes roadways to flood, streams to overflow, and unfortunately, even homes to flood. Floodwaters can leave debris in its wake, damaging property and clogging pipes and bridges. Floodwaters can also erode stream banks, which can add sediment downstream, making flooding worse during the next storm. Stormwater affects us all in many different ways through damages like flooding, erosion, pollution, degradation of our water supply. Your municipality's stormwater ordinance creates guidelines so everyone can do their part. Whether you live in town where gutters and downspouts from your roof empty out directly onto the roads and alleyways, or worse, close to your neighbor's building foundation, potentially flooding basements. Or if you live in the country, where extra runoff can contribute to flash floods that can carry debris and harm everything in its way. The new ordinance has been tailored by your municipality to help neighbors reduce the effect that any changes they make on their property may have on others. The new stormwater ordinance has been born out of a long history of Pennsylvania law and local planning. After the Federal Clean Water Act was created in 1972, Pennsylvania passed the Stormwater Management Act 167 in 1978. In 2010, Westmoreland County completed Phase 1 of their Act 167 plan, which included identifying the many stormwater issues in the county. In 2015, the county started Phase 2, which led to 2020, when the county commissioners adopted the Integrated Water Resources Plan that requires all municipalities adopt a stormwater ordinance to help combat and reverse flooding, erosion, pollution issues, and improve water quality throughout the county. By working together, everyone can be protected from the damages caused by increased stormwater runoff. So what does your new ordinance say? It is a document that lays out the recommended guidelines and requirements for changes made to the land to protect people and properties downstream. It also lays out steps on how to manage stormwater runoff created by new construction by using a rain garden, a rock-filled trench, or other technique. New construction should manage the stormwater runoff increase that is created by new development, so damages don't occur on neighboring properties or those downstream. The Stormwater Management Ordinance divides up new development into different categories depending on the need to manage stormwater in your community. Just digging and changing the landscaping on your property may be considered an exemption from managing any stormwater because you will not be adding any paving or roof area. Adding a nice 2-car garage and paving a new driveway or adding an addition on your house may cause enough runoff to affect neighbors. Adding a small shed or a patio may be considered no harm because the work won't create enough stormwater runoff to cause a problem in your neighborhood. Please check with your municipality to find out what the requirements may actually be for an exemption or no harm classification. The size of the project, determined by the square foot area, will determine if it is a small project and if you will need to manage the stormwater runoff. To determine if the changes you want to make to your property fall under one of these categories, you will need to check with your municipality and its stormwater ordinance. Check with your municipality to find out what they need to see and if there are any fees included. A letter or an application may need to be submitted for their review to determine if the stormwater management should be included in your project, and how much. To learn more, please continue to watch the videos in the Homeowner's Guide to Stormwater video series. You can also contact your municipality or visit westmorelandconservation.org to learn more about managing stormwater at home. Thank you for joining us for the Homeowner's Guide to Stormwater Part 1. Please join us next for Part 2, What Rules Are There for My Project?, where we explain what kind of projects will need to follow the rules in the Stormwater Ordinance. This video series has been presented by the Westmoreland Conservation District.